Is TikTok going to be banned in the UK? What's up, guys? My name's Aid. I'm a satirist. I'm an online content creator from the shittest town in Hampshire and all-round internet bastard. The Sky News have published a story this morning taking the baton from the UK Security Minister Tom Tugendhat, who says the concerns with the app are such that he may consider banning the app from Britain altogether. Now, Tugendhat, who's ex-military and an ex-Conservative leadership candidate, isn't a solo voice of hysteria with this. In his final few weeks as president, Donald Trump was sounding alarm bells. And in that same month, a programmer by the name of Bangor Lol reverse-engineered the app and described it as a data collection service, thinly veiled as a social network. Now, I work in tech, and sometimes you will hear this adage thrown around, which is, if the product is free, that is not the product. You are the product. And what I mean by that is when you log into Facebook and it's free, obviously they're not making any money out of that. So the way they make their money, their real product is spreadsheet and data set after data set of all of their users, you, me, your dad, your sister, your dog's former owner, all of us, they sell that data. All of them harvest your private data, and all of them make billions doing it, and probably don't pay any fucking tax, but that's a topic for a different video. Now, you might think, well, hang on, if Facebook does it, and Google does it, like, what's the problem if TikTok does it too? And this is where it gets interesting, because business-friendly conservatives like Tugendhat and Trump contend that this is a national security risk. But being so close to business, they open themselves up to speculation that actually their real issue here is that it's just a Chinese company drinking in the data and profiting off of it, and they would rather it was a Western billion-dollar tech company who would then no doubt donate to the Republicans and the Conservative Party here in the UK. Like, don't put your private personal user data in that app. Give it to this one, who will then sell or loan it to firms like Cambridge Analytica or Agrica IQ or Vote Leave or the Trump campaign, and ultimately upend democracy and lay the seeds for civil war and the collapse of Western liberal democracy. And you thought China was a threat to your national security. Anyway, there is some credence to this idea that TikTok could be a problem. The Redditor who reverse-engineered the app said he'd never seen such an outrageous, indiscriminate and unnecessary data harvest in his career. It was like your dad in a strip club that time, grabbing literally everything it could, way beyond what could reasonably be deemed acceptable. Like, normally these things want to know what, like your date of birth, your email address, maybe your browsing history, what's in your cookies, so they can use that to tailor and micro-target adverts to you to show you shit that in theory you would want to buy. But this thing wants to know your MAC address for your own domestic router. Why? It's setting up a local proxy server on your phone? Why? But again, this isn't really a problem if all that information is used for is to collate a spreadsheet to show Chinese manufacturers how often Brits need to update their router, or how often it crashes, or who their British competitors are, or how many devices on average British people connect to the same router with. Or I suppose the problem is when tensions rise between Beijing and Washington, and you've got spy balloons getting shot down over South Carolina, plus geopolitical upset at the US, UK and Australia submarine deal. You've got China increasingly taking America's place on the world stage, brokering peace deals. All of this against the backdrop of political instability here with Brexit, but over in the US with the batshit brigade of Bellandry that is Trump's Republican Party. I don't know, doesn't all of this speak to this idea of American, if not Western decline, and China's rise as the 21st century economic superpower? And if the relationship between Washington and Beijing really does go south and we find ourselves in a sort of digital warfare capacity, the idea that a huge chunk of your population might have the most popular app available installed on their phone, and it might be communicating infrastructure information back to an adversarial state. I don't know, you could see why that might be troubling. Like, I'm sorry I shut down the airport, but I really wanted to upload my twerk vid. Now, hopefully we're a long, long way from that because, you know, I have 2 kids and no friends and a drinking problem. So if China cancelled the internet, the Thompson household are in for a rough ride.
Daddy's bored, Timmy. Run round the shops and get me a bottle of vodka.
But I'm 4, Daddy. I don't know the way.
You'll figure it out. Cats find their way home.
So?
So are you shitter than a cat?
I like cats.
Me too. Off you fuck.
Of course, we should mention that TikTok is not the Chinese government, but the fear is that being based in China and owned by a Chinese company, ByteDance, there's a Huawei factor, where China's domestic laws might allow them access to Western information. Anyway, so I get the issues with the app, but it leaves me with two questions, right? Given the urgency, given the fright that is conveyed by American presidents, citizen journalists, British ministers when they clutch their pearls about the security implications. Number one, if this is such an egregious overreach by a tech company, which I'm not saying that it isn't, but how is it not being caught by Western tech conglomerates? Like, speaking as a programmer who has dabbled in mobile engineering, I know from conversations I've had how difficult it is to create an application and have it published in the App Store. So if there are concerns around user privacy and TikTok taking information they shouldn't be privy to, why aren't Apple blocking those features in the same way they did to Facebook last year? And two, if what this really comes down to is TikTok wiping the floor with Facebook and Instagram, if what you would really feel more comfortable with is an American company drinking in that user data, which again, I'm not necessarily saying that's wrong, maybe that's just nature of the beast with modern capitalism. But if you would rather that Reels or YouTube Shorts were the dominant video sharing social networking app across your population, here's a wild solution for you.
Make your algorithms better, you fucking idiots.
Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, they all fucking suck. If you want to grow a new account on YouTube or Twitter from nothing and just have it grow organically, you are fucked. I was actively writing on Twitter for 10 years before I gained any traction. And even then it was only because Supertansky retweeted me. And a big part of Supertansky gaining traction on Twitter was when Femi retweeted her. Like, if you're using hashtags on a new account on Twitter, you've got no fucking hope. You just don't. Because when you click on those hashtags, Twitter will curate a reading list for you of already big accounts and popular tweets that have already gained traction. YouTube home screens are curated with content from massive accounts. LinkedIn, Instagram, they're all the fucking same. But TikTok, you can create a brand new account with 0 followers and upload your video with the hashtag politics, hashtag Brexit or whatever. And as long as the like to view ratio hits about 15%, your video will continue to get boosted. And in my opinion, that's why creators are so loath to leave the app despite the security concerns. Because this is an app where you can actually be heard and build your audience and truly connect with people. So if the British government harbour any realistic desire to move a chunk of their population away from TikTok and mitigate the security risks, honestly, one of the first things they should do is get Zuckerberg and Musk to adjust their fucking algos. And to bring this back to the original question, are they about to ban TikTok? I think the answer to that is no. I don't think they're about to, but I do think eventually they will either take it offline or it will be completely overhauled. Like, they'll force them to divest it. It will be bought up by an American company. I don't think it will survive for much longer in its current form. So on that basis, I'll leave you with this. Make sure you're following me on all the other socials. I'm serious. This is the first time I've ever built up a following on anything. 44,000 of you apparently follow me. I don't care if you are all bots. Chinese and Russian state-controlled bots. I'm that needy. I need those bots to move over onto Twitter. Go onto Twitter now, @AThompson, I-N. I use the same handle for everything. Anyway, that's it from me. Take care. Bye.